This is the MegaCast with Valiant Karen and Mega Mario.
Welcome everybody to this installment of the MegaCast. I am Mega Mario, and sitting next to me is
the Valiant Karen.
What's going on, Valiant Karen?
Hey, how you doing, bro?
All right, so for this installment of the MegaCast, it's going to be about Cinemacon. For those who don't know, Cinemacon is a trade show which is put on between the studios that exist out there, for example, WB, Disney, etc., and the National Association of Theater Owners, otherwise known as NATO. Not the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, but the National Association of Theater Owners. So now that we got that straight, let's get into all the news and all the revelations and all the notes and all the happenings that came out of Cinemacon, Karen.
Yeah, we learned a lot of things from Cinemacon, and I'm jealous that we weren't invited, of course, but that's okay.
Well, if you buy a theater, then we can be part of NATO, and then we can go to Cinemacon.
Right?
So let's buy a theater.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the first things we'll talk about is Fox. You know, they went ahead and presented. That was one of the early reports that, you know, we know that Fox is happy with James Cameron's Avatar because Avatar is the highest grossing movie of all time.
Highest grossing movie ever.
Right. So it came as no surprise that Fox announced that three sequels are coming back to back in 2018, 2020, 2021, and 2022. So that would actually make it 4 sequels.
Yeah, you're right, Karen. So at Cinemacon, they announced the 4 sequels that the Avatar universe will have. James Cameron announced it personally. So it's a lot of sequels, but what else would you expect from the highest grossing movie of all time?
We'll see how it does at the box office. I don't think it's going to repeat, obviously, the same numbers that the first one did. We'll see. It's like when we see, you know, the Avatar sequels, are we going to be amazed again? Are we going to be like, or no, that's nothing new?
It's going to be pivotal for Avatar essentially to evolve. And I think not just evolve storyline-wise and character-wise and immerse us more into that universe, but I think it's also going to be pivotal for Avatar and its sequels now, the Avatar universe, to give us something new, like you said, a new movie-going experience. And I'm thinking that James Cameron is very smart, and if I know this, and if you know this, he knows this. And I can see one place where he might be going with this when we get to the 3rd or the 4th sequel is I can see him going with virtual reality, where the 3D in Avatar was amazing. I think he could go to another level with virtual reality. So that's something that I think James Cameron has up his sleeve. I think that's something that the Avatar franchise will give us. And if that is the case, then, and if it's good, it will repeat its $2 billion earnings. In fact, I think it'll do more. It'll do a lot more because look at it this way. Back when this movie came out in the late 2000s, it's a different industry now. The worldwide box office is so much bigger. China is so important. Now Latin America is becoming so important. Other parts of the world are gaining strength when it comes to movies. Movies are now events. So I'm curious to see how Avatar does do that, and if it can tell a good, compelling story and give us new effects like virtual reality. If it does, then I think it'll be game on, and we'll just keep seeing it, keep breaking records, and keep being the industry standard for these big tentpole movies and the biggest, best mega movie ever. There's a lot of big news at Cinemacon, but I would say the next big news, even though it's something we all expected, we all knew was coming, is the officially announced Batman solo movie directed by Ben Affleck. This was announced by Kevin Tsujihara, WB CEO and president, and later confirmed through press release that Ben Affleck is going to be directing. All I have to say is, yay! All right. And Karen, let me just say this. It's interesting to me that back, 3.5 years ago, everybody was going crazy about Ben Affleck being Batman. And now everybody's cheering not just Ben Affleck as Batman, but looking forward to his solo movie and clamoring for him to direct this. Isn't that something? It's just, to me, it's like amazing how it just went from night to day.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's like every day you had all the Affleck haters out there, and now people look forward to seeing him. And some people will say that he was the best thing about Batman v Superman, or the second best thing. But no, it's great that he's gonna direct his solo movie, and I think if he does well with this, and I've said it before, I can see him directing a Justice League movie,
Yes,
even
please,
though,
please, 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 please,
but
please.
even though we know Zack Snyder's already helmed for that, but I'm happy with this news, and hopefully this will steer the DC cinematic movie universe in the right way.
Right, and just like you said, Batman was the best thing, one of the best things going in B versus S. I would say he's one of the best things going in the entire DC cinematic universe. And everything needs to start bouncing off of him, and he needs to take center stage, very similar to what Marvel does with Tony Stark and Iron Man. So I think that's really important, and I think WB is very, 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 I've said this before, very lucky that Ben Affleck is on Team DC, and they need to capitalize on his talent and let him do whatever he thinks is best going forward for the most part, because we already see kind of the limitations and the downfalls of giving the Snyderverse. So something else needs to play into that. I think also too, what's interesting, Karen, before we go on to another topic of Cinemacon, is that not only did WB announce the Batman movie, but it's interesting that Kevin Tsujihara stressed or stated that they're committed to 10 more DC movie universes over the next couple years. And that's really interesting, especially after what happened with Batman versus Superman. So essentially, for the most part, DC is still a priority when it comes to Marvel. I'm sorry, when it comes to Warner Brothers, it's still, their main focus. So that's interesting. It just goes to show you that even though Batman versus Superman stumbled and didn't do what it did, they still see the potential they're going forward. And I tend to agree. Just because that didn't work out, hopefully they learn from what happened and obviously go forward. So at least I'm happy that they're not overreacting and saying, oh, we can't do these comic book movies anymore. We can't do DC movies anymore. Let's go do something else. It really is the best thing going right now in the industry. You just have to revamp and retool.
Another news that came out, which is interesting, is that we are going to see what Amazon Studios has to bring, because literally they are ready for the movies. And like I just said, their studio is going to be called Amazon Studios. The announcement was made last January that they will produce and acquire original movies for theoretical releases. And also, too, if you are an Amazon Prime member, you will have early window distribution to see these movies.
This is a game changer, because look at what Netflix has done for TV, if we can even still call it TV,
Right.
more or less. But look at what it's meant for them. Look at how it's really changed the way you view TV. And look at it's done for comic books, things and shows like Daredevil and Jessica Jones, etc. So, what's the future for Amazon Studios? Is it the same as Netflix, a new subgenre of movies that's exclusive to a provider? In this case, it would be Amazon Prime. So, you're basically gonna, if Amazon Studios puts out something compelling that you want to watch, some people are you're gonna have to subscribe or somehow download this. But pay to watch, it's gonna chop away at studio and theater profits, which is important when it comes to Cinemacon, because that's really who is running the show right now, is studios and the theaters. So it'd be interesting to see. I think it's easier to leverage content on streaming than a theater, social wise and ratings wise. And when I say easier to leverage content, it's easier to basically, access it. It's easier to access it, and it's easier to basically put a link up to it, as opposed to people just getting in their cars and going to a movie theater at midnight or on a busy weekend when you've got all kinds of things going on, work, kids, so many other things. So it's just easier, like I said, to leverage. So this is definitely going to be a big player in the future, in my opinion. It's just not how it will affect the industry, because it will affect the industry, but how others will adapt or counter. other studios, to be more specific, like Fox or like WB or like Disney. And, there's more to come, and it's going to be very exciting over the next couple of years. I want to say one more thing, too, Karen, before we leave this topic, is that one of the things that early entered my mind when I heard about this Amazon news is that Amazon's got plenty of money. There's no issues there.
Oh, yes.
And we're talking about a mega retailer. We're talking about a mega company. And I'm not just using that to play on words because this is the mega cast. I'm just saying it because it's exactly what it is. It's a conglomerate. And Amazon Studios is going to be able to finance films a lot easier than other more of the traditional studios. I know that sounds crazy, but they've got plenty of cash lying around. So all they have to do is pick a project they believe in and greenlight it. When traditionally, when you make a movie, even if it's a big movie like Spider-Man or Batman, you typically have to finance it. The studios will distribute it, but you have to find somebody who will finance it. People will finance it, but things get held up. And when somebody's putting down millions and millions of dollars, 50 million, 40 million, 80 million, 90 million dollars for a movie to get made, they want certain things to get done. They want a certain action scene. They want general returns on their money. They want certain points. They want merchandise. They want distribution rights. They want video, DVD, Blu-ray, digital download sales. All those things are important. Why? I don't mean to bore anybody. It's important because Amazon has the power to potentially cut all that out, give a project to a director, or greenlight a project for a director or a screenplay that they believe in, and just say run with it. And essentially stay out of the way because they've greenlit it the way it is, and that's how it's going. There's no third parties getting involved. There's no producer. There's no financer getting involved saying, well, I don't like that in the movie, change it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's also going to be big for Amazon, where where directors and screenplay writers and other just movie makers are going to flock and look to make unique projects, which is going to be interesting. And potentially, if you've got a great up-and-coming director or a really established director, somebody, for example, like Ridley Scott just comes to mind, make a movie that he really wants to make without a lot of interference from, like I said, third parties or executives. I just think that it could be something fresh and unique and exciting and, again, change the industry. In this case, I think probably for the better. Or it could be for the worse because the movie doesn't have a filter and it's just really out there, but it's just interesting. It's something that I think we need to keep an eye on. So anyways, I'm done. We can move on to the next thing.
No, I mean, we know that Amazon has so much money, and I'm sure the other studios are not concerned right now because Amazon has to prove themselves first.
Good point, yes.
So we'll see what they do next month. We'll see what they bring, and anyway, I'm excited. I love Amazon. I have an account with them as well. I always order all my stuff with them.
You love Amazon.
Yes, I'm actually surprised I don't have their credit card, but if I did, my money would go towards them.
Yeah, Amazon, if you're listening, give us some free stuff here. Karen's like giving away like all her money to you guys already. Come on. Before we move on to some individual movies, Karen, there's two things I want to talk about. The first one is a studio here that's upcoming, STX Entertainment. I want to talk about them because one of the things is that this studio is sort of a rising star. Kind of came out of nowhere, a dark horse, and has given us some pretty original stories, and that's really what I want to focus on. Is that, we obviously here we love to cover mega movies, superhero, sci-fi, fantasy, action, and adventure. And STX has given us kind of a grounded stories with original information. For example, they gave us last year they had The Gift, which did well last summer amongst a really heavily crowded summer blockbuster tentpole movies. And there's a couple of cool projects that they show that I'm really looking forward to. First one is the Civil War movie Free State of Jones, which stars Matthew McConaughey. Obviously Matthew McConaughey's come on strong ever since Dallas Buyers Club, and they're really looking forward to him there. I know we saw the trailer for it, I think, when we went to go see The Jungle Book, and that looked really cool. Right. So, this studio putting out really good productions, kind of want to highlight them, keep an eye on them. Obviously, it can't always be about superheroes and things like that. Well, Well, it can't always be about superheroes. I wouldn't mind, but it is nice sometimes to get something fresh and something interesting, and that's why, like I said, I want to highlight STX.
Yeah, you can tell Matthew's going for another Oscar win.
Yeah, it definitely had, from what I saw early, it definitely had that kind of vibe. That's something that potentially could be in that movie's future, and wouldn't that be something for STX if they had a Oscar-winning movie? One other project too that I want to highlight that's coming out. They got a couple other ones, but like for example, Edge of 17. But another one that I think is just going to be really fun is called Bad Moms, and that's with Jada Pinkett Smith, Kristen Bell, Christina Applegate, and Mila Kunis. And essentially, the plot of that one is where these moms who are living these day-to-day, very structured, very repetitive lives all of a sudden just say, F it, and we're going to live life to the fullest, and we're going to just do whatever comes to mind. And I think that's cool. I think that's interesting, and I like the premise of it because I think it'll appeal to a lot of people. A lot of people out there obviously go to movies for escape, and wouldn't it be cool if somebody that they could relate to, amongst all those actresses, all those characters, about just kind of going out there and just blowing off steam and just running wild and raging. So that's on my watch list here upcoming, and original stories are very cool. So I definitely wanted to give STX those props and give them highlights, and just looking forward to that down the road.
Another sequel that was announced, which we all knew was on the way as well, is our favorite anti-hero, Deadpool. Awesome. We cannot wait till we see this second one because everyone just fell in love with it. Well, almost everybody did. It will be great to have back our team, which includes director Tim Miller and producer Ryan Reynolds. And also, too, I love this news because it lets us know that Fox and their team is not wasting any time when it comes to making this sequel, and that they're still trying to please us, the fans. They're not ignoring us by saying, well, they could have gotten, new people to come on board, but they didn't. And I'm glad we're going to have the same team. They did so well. Why ruin that? So I think WB could learn some pointers from that. And also, too, is obviously we can't wait to see our other favorite Marvel character, which would be Cable. And we also can't wait to see who will actually portray Cable. Will it be Keira Knightley, Mario?
Well, something tells me it won't be Keira Knightley, but it definitely will be interesting to see how Deadpool follows up because it came out, obviously, not I want to say it came out of nowhere, but it was even better than even us fans were hoping for. So, and I would say Deadpool right now is the best thing going in the movie industry. It's a movie that had a relatively low budget, had a superhero character, even overcame an R rating, and just became a success with a great leading man that essentially fused with a wonderful character like Deadpool, with a great director and great writing. So that's basically I don't want to say a holy grail, but that's basically a great setup there going forward. So it'll be interesting to see how Deadpool continues with it. But I am glad that, like you said, Fox is not getting in the way and everybody is still on board. And we just pick up right where we left off. And the winner of all this is us, the audience. All right, Karen, next on my list of movies and notes here from Cinemacon is Baba Yaga. Otherwise known as the man who you send to kill the boogeyman. He's back. And I can't wait for this. It's going to be a fun, ultra-violent movie that I think will do better than the original. I think that it's coming out at just the right time when R-rated movies are not leprosy or are not the Scarlet Letter and keep audiences away. I think that people will embrace this movie a little bit more. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun, and that's just pretty much it. I pretty much for the most part support most everything that Keanu Reeves does, and I think this has been one of the best projects he's done here, obviously over recent years. So I just can't wait to see it.
John Wick was a surprise hit, and people were like, oh, this is just going to be another, shooting, person where a lot of people die, get killed, but no, Keanu Reeves did a great job portraying John Wick, and we can't wait to see him come back. One final thing that we do want to touch upon is a movie that we really don't know too much about. which would be called Passengers, which will be distributed by Sony. And the only reason why I would be interested in seeing this movie is it stars our favorite actresses, our favorite actors, which would be Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. And they will be a sci-fi thriller, and obviously there will be some romance. They will play a couple in this movie, and we'll see how it goes. I know a lot of people are not into the whole sci-fi romantic movies, but in the past couple of years, we've had great science fiction movies. I know people didn't like Prometheus that much. Some people did. And then we had Gravity, we had The Martian. We will not include the Fantastic Four reboot into that. But I think it's going to be good. And they were saying that, to get stars like Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence to do this movie, it's a big deal. So I'm sure it will be fine. And also, too, is what a journalist had said was that it does have a similar feel to like Gravity and Interstellar as well. And also, too, the movie comes out right before Christmas, December 21st. So we'll see if people will be in the mood, to watch this sci-fi thriller.
Yeah, anything with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, sign me up, because I think they're just generally great talents. I think I've been following Chris Pratt for a long time, ever since he was on TV back in the day, and I just think he's funny, very charming guy. And same thing for J-Law, Jennifer Lawrence. She's just a charming, fun actress who can play really any role. So anything they do, for the most part, I think is going to be gold. And put them together, I just expect something great, and I can't wait to find out more about this movie. For the future developments, like you said, it's kind of clouded in it's kind of shrouded in mystery right now, but we'll obviously find out more about it, and looking forward to it. All right, Karen, I think that wraps up our Cinemacon notes and news and review for this year around. So I think Cinemacon is going to be something that's going to be more and more big, and we saw a lot of star power there. And essentially, it's not like Comic-Con, or it's not like D23. Those are more the studios talking to the audience and marketing to the audience. This was a trade show, and a trade show is essentially within an industry, and the pivotal players within that industry. And in this case, it's the movie industry with studios and movie theaters, and the studios talking to the theaters, and the theaters receiving and finding out what they want to get behind, what projects they want to hype up, and which ones they think will result in the biggest money. So, definitely interesting to see where things were going. So we definitely wanted to cover that. And we'll close it out here. Keep an eye out for more of our videos. This one here is a MegaCast, which essentially is a podcast production. We also do movie reviews and reactions, so you can see more of that from us on our YouTube channel here. Are we gonna go see Keanu here in the next couple of days, Karen?
Yes, we will see it.
All right, we'll probably do a review after that, right?
Right, we will.
All right, there you go, guys. You heard it from Valiant Karen herself. We'll be doing a movie review here this week, so please subscribe and tune in for that. And as always, you can check our Instagram at Mega Movie News, or our website, www.megamovienews.com. All right, everybody, for Valiant Karen, I'm Mega Mario. We'll see you later.
The MegaCast, your news source for superhero, sci-fi, fantasy, action, and adventure films. From megamovienews.com.